Welcome to the Evening Review. My name is Ohane, and joining me in studio is Sylvia and Ginola, who are going to be speaking to us about a trilogy of remembrance. Welcome to the Evening Review.
No, thank you very much. Thank you for having us.
Yeah. How did the idea of trilogy to remembrance come about, and what are you hoping to achieve through these public dialogues? Let me start with you, Sylvia.
Well, the idea of this project came about because we are a German political foundation that which are aligned with our value on social justice and social democracy. As a German political foundation, we have a historical relationship with Namibia, and even with what has happened in the past. And therefore, we really felt that we have that sense of responsibility to actually have public discourse and dialogue on the issues of reconciliation and the genocide of 1904 to 1908.
Okay. And maybe, is there anything that you would like to add to the first question, Ginola?
Yeah, the idea was oftentimes understanding the dynamics of the genocide, and even just in terms of information. We felt the youth are not really well informed on it, or rather, or don't have a seat at the table where the discussions are happening. So as per the inception of this, it was so that we could give young people a platform to both learn about the genocide and the events that happened around 1904 to 1908, and of course, obviously, also to give them a platform where they can express themselves, maybe give new perspectives, and things like that.
What specific role do you envision for the youth in fostering reconciliation between Namibia and Germany regarding the Nama genocide? I'll start with you.
All right. So particularly for the youth, the idea is just that the youth should get involved. Being the largest demographic in the country, it is important that whatever discussions are happening, that the youth are maybe not either at the center of it or are key contributors to it. And that is basically what we want. We want that these negotiations allow young people to also say, this is what represents our interest on this matter, this is what we would like to see. Because for us, and it is also something that we both, FES and the NID, believe, is that this is not a Nama or Sherero matter. This is a Namibian issue. And Namibian youth should be on the table to discuss their stance, should be given an opportunity to air their views, and possibly even give their interest as to how, because that negotiation will also affect them. So that is the idea, yeah.
Your end, ma'am?
Sorry?
Just in terms of how you see the role, the youth
role.
Yeah.
Well, I also tend to agree with Ginola. We really want the youth to influence the negotiation process. We also want them to influence the outcome of the joint declaration. Because what really have happened in the past, even though it has affected their descendants more, it also have an impact on their daily lives. Most of them, the youth, they are unemployed. They are living in poverty. And it is a result of what has happened in the past. Your ancestors never had their lands, their property has been taken away. Now, as a result, their wealth has been taken away. As a result, they are living in poverty. They don't have the resources to really shape and create a better future for their generation, for their own generation. And and therefore we want the youth really to be involved and create a better future for them by being involved in this negotiation, although not directly though, but at least if they can influence the negotiation. As we are talking, we are going to have a dialogue this evening, and I'm sure through media, somebody will pick up what they are saying. And if somebody cares so much about their plight, they will be able to take this recommendation. They will be able to take their recommendation seriously and make sure that whatever they said, it's also being channeled through the joint declaration and the negotiation process.
Can you tell us more about the experts who will participate in these sessions as we're now going about the trilogy?
Well, the experts, we have really high-level experts. We are going to have the ambassador of Germany to Namibia, Dr. Torsten Hutter. He is going to really give us an overview with regard to the present situation. What has really happened? Where are we in terms of the joint declaration and the negotiation process? And what are the challenges that they are experiencing? And we are also going to have another speaker who is Mr. Weriuka Festus Chikua, who is representing the affected communities on the technical committee with regard to genocide, apology, and reparation. So he's also going to give us at least an overview on where we are in terms of the negotiation process.
What unique perspectives do they bring to these experts bring to the discussion? Maybe I can just continue on that on that question with you.
Well, I think the new perspective is basically to give the youth an understanding, because the joint declaration, some people are saying it is development aid. It's just another development aid. And although some people are not agreeing with it, so they are going to give us that understanding that this joint declaration maybe is something that is there for the Namibians, and it's there also, it's an agreement that is there to transform the livelihood of the Namibian people so that we can reconcile, and also so that the livelihood of the Namibian people is being improved.
Was there anything that you'd like to add, Ginola?
Yes, I would just like to add that, you see, when we looked at it, because it's a three-part event that we have. First of all, we began with the first event that happened sometime in June or July, if I'm not mistaken, where we focused purely just on the history, where it was very education creation oriented. And for that one, we brought in a lecturer and, of course, another specialist in terms of the history as to the events of 1904 to 1908. But for this particular event, we looked at between who are the negotiations currently happening. Obviously Germany, and of course ourselves. But within that, you have specific stakeholders, people that have been practically on the ground, that have seen the documentation, you know. And the two speakers that we have are the people that we believe are purview to that information. And that is why, for the young people that we are inviting and that will attend the event, it will also be a platform to ask, where are we now? What has happened so far? What are the current developments, you know? And that is why these two individuals are key in answering that question of the present. Yeah.
How do you plan to measure the impact of the series, particularly in terms of raising awareness and the understanding among the participants? Let me continue with you, Ginola.
Okay, the idea is, because this is a very youth-centered initiative, we want a lot of people to come, a lot of people to know what they need to, a lot of people to participate in the discussion, and of course, if need be, continue it on social media. So the event will equally be live streamed for those that cannot attend, but we want to create a platform where no young person should ever say, I was not part of it, or why are we not part of that discussion? Because this is a platform where you can be part of the conversation with regards to genocide. That is why we made it very youth-centered, very youth-focused, because young people should not be left out of that discussion, as they are the largest demographic.
Anything from your part, to add?
Yeah, I just want to add that through their participation, their active participation, we are also hoping that whatever they have said will reflect in the negotiation. And because the people are saying the youth are the leaders of tomorrow. We don't want the youth to be the leaders of tomorrow. We want the youth to be the leaders of today. We have seen that things within the political landscapes are changing. So the youth are also demanding their spaces. The youth want to ensure whatever programs is coming as a result of the joint declaration, they want to be included. They must actually benefit from those programs, so that at least their life can be better for themselves and also for their future generation.
What are some of the challenges you anticipate in organizing these dialogues, especially regarding public engagements on such a sensitive historical topic?
I think, since you have said it yourself, since the topic itself is quite sensitive, but it's very important. It's a sensitive topic, it's a complex topic. So these are the challenges that we are foreseeing. And also people have the tendency of becoming emotional. and then they will step on each other's toes. They become emotional, and they might also be immature in their arguments. So we want to avoid this type of scenarios happening. And therefore, we have a very well-qualified moderator that will be able to set the scene and be able to actually set the rules for engagement, so that people know what are the rules for engagement in advance. And should they not comply, unfortunately, I hope everybody will comply. Should they not comply, unfortunately, they will have to be excused.
Your end?
But of course, in addition to that, it is very important that we had a good attendance in terms of our last event. But obviously, the more young people we have, the better. So our hope and prayer is that we have more young people that are willing to come and listen in, be part of the conversation, and contribute.
Beyond these dialogues, what other initiatives are planned to maintain momentum in addressing the legacy of the Herero Nama genocide? Ginola?
All right. Well, in partnership with the FES, this was our first attempt. So we hope the relationship continues, and of course we could still do more as of next year. But this was our first attempt to sort of not only awareness creation, but let young people be engaged. Let them have a platform where they can air their concerns, ask questions, and obviously have them addressed. So that is the idea. So this was the attempt of the two organizations to come together to do something for young people that we believe is in their interest, particularly to the genocide. And we are hoping, depending on the feedback we get from young people, that we can extend the same trilogy to have it next year again.
From your end, ma'am?
Yeah, from my end, as Ginola have said, we are hoping for a sustainable relationship, for continued partnership. And then we are also, on top of that, we are also hoping to see young people that are advocating for issues beyond reconciliation. So we want to create agents of change that are young. Yeah.
I think lastly from my part, I want to know, you mentioned that that there's a social media reach that you are exploring, but are you looking perhaps at are you looking at rolling this out not just in Windhoek but also to other places, just to get a wider reach and to have an in-person conversations with the youth who are the target audience here?
Yeah, I think we tend to be so much centralized. I think we are hoping also with the resources to decentralize this activity also in other parts of Namibia, so that at least we are more inclusive and we are bringing other youth on board, so that also they can also at least have the same opportunity like the ones in Windhoek.
No, it's exactly something that we will definitely look into, because we understand that maybe those that are most affected may not be in Windhoek, but maybe actually out there in the regions. So it will be a great initiative to reach out to them and just hear their perspective as well.
Ginola, since I'm speaking to you, would anything else perhaps that you would like to add just to encourage the youth to take part in this initiative?
Well, the event is tonight at 1800 hours to 8 o'clock tonight. And we want to invite all young people to come and be part of the conversation, come and network, come and contribute however best you can. We, you know, as an NGO or as NGOs, there's only as much we can do. We can bring young people together, we can create these platforms, but if young people themselves don't make use of them, then it's, you know, void of the effort. But we encourage young people, look, this is a platform for you. We have done this so that you have an opportunity to raise your concerns, contribute. So we have this platform, and we just want to encourage a lot of young people. Attend, be part of the conversation. When you share your post, do share the hashtags. If you're not able to attend, of course, it will also be live streamed. You can also give your questions there. We'll allow the panelists to answer them. And I think we are, as we have reached out to a lot of universities, and we have also engaged with the different university radios, I want to believe, God, that we'll have a good number of attendance.
Yeah. From your end, ma'am?
From my end, I just want to urge the youth to take advantage of these opportunities.
Yeah.
Because opportunities sometimes are so scarce, and if they are not taking advantage of these opportunities, they are actually failing themselves. So we really urge them to just come out there in huge numbers and make use of this opportunity and try and influence also in their own way the negotiation process.
And then maybe lastly from my end, I know that I want to, where's the event taking place?
So the event will be taking place at the House of Democracy in 70 to 72 Front and Ndongo Street, Windhoek West, not far from NAST, somewhere near Protea, as you proceed from the robots of the Namibian. So we encourage all those that will know the place to come there, because it will be happening there tonight.
Ginola, just want to know what was the inspiration behind this Trilogy of Remembrance?
All right, so basically for the Namibia Institute of Democracy, if I can just elaborate a bit more, we are a Namibian-based NGO. We started in 1991, and basically the founders had a big responsibility on their head, which was civic education, of course. But Namibia had just escaped apartheid, and for the first time we were self-governed. So a lot of the work that we did as NID from 1991 was basically civic education, but for the core purpose of rehabilitation. People needed to to be taught what is a functional government, what does it mean to represent yourself, how are we supposed to elect your leader. So there a lot to do with the rehabilitation of the mind. People needed to see that self-governance works, and this is the right way to do it. And of course, over the years, we have gone to another stage that we call civic education for capacitation, where we are to be teaching people how to protest, how to hold government accountable, what is the role of your counselor, where must you go for what, when, things like that. But as time went, we came to a dispensation where we look at civic education for the purposes of repositioning. So it simply just asks, what characteristics must I as a person have to be a healthy contributor to democracy? And part of that is attending events, being part of things. And that is why this trilogy to us is an important thing, because it allows young people to be a part of a discussion that they feel they were left out of, to be a contributor to a discussion they think they don't have a seat at. And that is why it was important for us to partner with FES on this endeavor, because it's anything that is to capacitate young people to be healthy contributors to Namibia, we will do it. And that was basically where we came from as NID.
What is the involvement of FES in this discussion series?
Well, our involvement really as a political foundation that strives to promote democracy and social justice, we are really there to make sure that we create safe spaces for people from different backgrounds to come together and voice their concerns, and also influence policies, and also make sure that their concerns are actually taken through in whatever platforms or in whatever policy documents that are available.
So far, what has the reaction been of the general public and even maybe the affected communities in you hosting this Trilogy of Remembrance? Let me start with you, Sylvia.
Well, I think the youth really, some of them, they have even been calling me, telling us that, well, what we are doing is actually a very good initiative, because many institutions has not attempted to create platforms relating to these type of activities, especially with regard to the issue of the Namibia-German reconciliation process. Most of them, especially, I remember going to one of the rural area last year, and the people are saying, guys, we really need these type of platforms, because we are just hearing these things on radio, and radio, there is nobody to answer us back. Should we need questions, nobody can respond, because we are just hearing things on radio. But you are coming to us in person, and we are appreciating it, because you are also bringing us experts that can answer our questions and concerns, because other than that, people are really not reaching out to us and creating these type of spaces to us, so that at least we are able also to know what is this whole issue all about? Because if people are not there to respond to their questions and to their query, it's very difficult to understand the whole reconciliation process and the whole genocide issues, because people have a very different understanding about the issue, and they are misinterpreting the whole issue, and sometimes through misinformation, through not having enough knowledge, sometimes conflict is arising.
Your experience, or you gauging the view.
I remember a few weeks after the event, maybe 1 or 2 weeks after, we had on several occasions people that either didn't find out about it or found out about it late, particularly a lot of university students. So the approach we took this year, with the second edition of the trilogy, is that we gauged with different societies on different campuses. We gauged with the NAST Public Management Society, and then we also gauged with the UNAM Political Science Society. And today we also engaged with students from IUM, informing them about the event, when the event is starting, where it will take place, because we felt that if we are receiving feedback as to, no, I was really interested, I just found out late, or I just didn't know about it, we actually went above and beyond, including even the fact that we're here as a way to speak to more people, as to inform more people that, look, the event is happening, this platform was created for you, come and take advantage of it.
How would you rate the success of the event that you had last year, and how has that improved? How do you think that will improve what you will have on this year? I'll start with you.
Okay, so the event wasn't last year, it was sometime in the middle of the year. And then today we are having the second event, and then the third event we'll have before the end of the year. But what we can say is that we had a good number of attendance, which is a clear indicator of success, but we would want to see more of that. Hopefully even twice as that, because if we have a lot of young people and their opinions are reflected in the current negotiations, their views are reflected in currently what is happening, that for us is an up, because that is at the end of the day what we want to create. That is why the people we put in the room are not just experts with information. These are people that are decision makers that sit in technical committees whose contribution have an effect on the outcome of the whole thing. So we actually went above and beyond to up our marketing a bit, so that we have more people coming, more young people that can voice their concerns.
From your end, ma'am?
From my end, I will say our success, there's always room for improvement. And compared to the first activity that we had, I will say in terms of quality of the discussions, in terms of the recommendation, it was it was actually very good.
And well received.
And well received. And also the discussion was also conducted in a mature manner. We didn't have people that were overly sensitive. There was maturity in terms of the discussions. And also this time around, we are also looking forward in improving this discussion by having more young people on board. As Ginola have said, we went to the tertiary education. We made sure that we reach out to our target group, and some of them, or the majority of them, has already confirmed that they are coming in big numbers. So we are looking forward to meeting the youth.
Thank you so much for joining us on the Evening Review.
All right.
It was
Thank you for
our
having
pleasure.
us.
Thank you for having us.
That concludes. Have yourself a pleasant evening.
Thank you very much. Bye.